We had completed Gopika Geet, all 19 verses. So we'll chant the first 6 verses together. जयति तेऽधिकं जन्मना व्रजः श्रयत इन्दिरा शश्वदत्र हि दयितदृश्यतां दिक्षु तावकाः त्वयि धृतासवः त्वां विचिन्वते शरदुदाशये साधुजातसत् सरसिजोदर श्रीमुषादृशा सुरतनाथ ते अशुल्कदासिका वरदनिघ्नतो नेह किं वदः विषजलाप्ययाद्व्यालराक्षसात् वर्षमारुताद्वैद्युतानलात् वृषमयात्मजात् विश्वतो भयात् ऋषभते वयं रक्षितामुः न खलु गोपिका नन्दनो भवान् अखिलदेहिनाम् अन्तरात्मदृक् विखनसार्थितो विश्वगुप्तये सखौ देवान् सात्वतां कुले विरचिता भयं वृष्णिधुर्यते चरणमीयुषां संसृतेर्भयात् करसरोरुहं कान्तकामदं शिरसि देहिनः श्रीकरग्रहम् व्रजजनार्तिहन् वीरयोषितां निजजनस्मय ध्वंसनस्मित भज सखे भवत् किङ्करी स्मनो जलरुहाननं चारुदर्शय श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। बोलिए राधावर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय, सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। 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 16th verse onwards. आब्रह्मभुवना लोकाः पुनरावर्तिनोऽर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते। सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यद्ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिं युगसहस्रान्तां ते होरात्रविदो जनाः। अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्त्यहरागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते व्यक्तसंज्ञके। भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यहरागमे। परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यः अव्यक्तो व्यक्तात् सनातनः। यस्य सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति। अव्यक्तोऽक्षर इत्युक्तः तमाहुः परमां गतिं यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते परमं मम। पुरुषः स परः पार्थ भक्त्या लभ्यस्त्वनन्यया यस्यान्तस्थानि भूतानि येन सर्वमिदं ततम्। Bhagwan is explaining a topic which is very special to Bhagavad Geeta. What happens to a jīva after he drops this body? Actually, in Bhagavad Geeta, different topics that come, after we have studied those verses, we should be able to write an essay by ourselves. And all key points should be covered. Don't start an essay with background story, life of a jīva. Different points are mentioned about what happens to a jīva once he drops his physical body. First, Bhagavan said, until Brahmaloka, whichever other loka jiva goes to, he has to come back. But having gone to Brahmaloka, there is no coming back. He gets liberated from Brahmaloka. Then Brahmaloka word came, so he had to explain who is Brahmaji, what is the duration of Brahmaloka. So he calculated the lifespan of Brahmaji. How much was it? Precise, 315.3 trillion years. That is Brahmaji's life. The main point was to say, even Brahmaloka is impermanent. After 315.3 trillion years, Brahmaji cannot stay on that post even a day more. Somebody else will become Brahmaji, creation will continue. Then Bhagavan said, this creation that we know is not a new creation. What we are seeing as this creation, it has become unmanifest several times. And it has become manifest several times. This just happens to be one of that manifestation. This was another point he mentioned. Brahmaji going to sleep means this whole world is unavailable for transaction. Brahmaji wakes up, names and forms become available for transaction. This is called day and night. Brahmaji is waking up is day when Srishti happens. Brahmaji going to deep sleep is Pralaya. Then Bhagavan said, one thing to note here is, jivas are not given a choice. Do you want to manifest or not? He said, helplessly, all beings are brought into manifestation, and without asking any questions, they have to go back into unmanifest form. In a way, Bhagavan is telling us, drop this mithya abhimana. The totality is much more powerful than the pride that an individual carries. Pralaya time is not in our hand. Neither is manifestation. That point was also covered. Then Bhagavan said, 20th and 21st verse, he spoke about nature of Brahman. Parastasmatu bhavaha anyaha. Different from this deep sleep of Brahmaji is Akshara, which is pure consciousness, and it is eternal. Even when creation becomes unmanifest, consciousness is untouched. And when creation becomes manifest, it still remains untouched by creation. It is just like silence. When sound is there, silence is untouched. And you remain quiet, silence is not lost, it is right there. So it is a substratum in which different things come and go. Just like silence is a substratum for different sound, consciousness is a substratum for manifest and unmanifest universe. And it is indestructible. Yasya sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. Doesn't get destroyed. It is avyaktaha. It is unseen, but it is reality. It is unseen, yet very well known as witness of thought. Unseen doesn't mean unknowable. Unseen also doesn't mean unreal. That is why the word avyakta is used for consciousness. Avyakta is also used for Maya. But Maya, when we say avyakta, it is that which cannot be known. But in case of consciousness, avyakta means that which doesn't become an object, but very well known as I. Very well known through Upanishad Pramana. Yam prapya ninivartante tad dhama paramam. Having attained which, there is no coming back. That is my absolute dhama. 22nd verse, Bhagavan concluded this topic. Purusha saparav partha bhaktya labhya tvananyaya. He said, this Parama Purusha is not attained only by intellection. How is he attained? Through bhakti. Bhaktya labhya means this knowledge should become heartfelt knowledge. First it enters through our ears, then it stays here in the head. Slowly it has to trickle down to our heart. Means I have to want, I need to crave for self-abidance. Pointing out the heart means that thing which we love. So, that truth will be attained not by mere knowledge, but by wanting it intensely, wanting it wholeheartedly. And we saw two meanings of Purusha. One meaning was Purnatvat Purusha, one who makes a thing complete. All appliances are there, top quality, high efficiency, no electricity. Until electricity comes, that appliance is not complete. Like that, body might be there, sense organ might be there. Unless consciousness enlivens them, it is not complete. So that consciousness which makes the conditioning complete is called as Purusha. Purnatvat Purusha. Second was Purishayanat, one who sleeps in this city of 9 gates, this body. Shayanam means to sleep. Means one who is available in this body is called as Purusha. Yasya antasthani bhutani, one in whom all beings reside. Who is this Purusha? One in whom this entire universe, all beings reside. One thing to note here is, Purusha is not another person. Because last time I kept on saying Purusha, Purusha. Somebody came and asked me, what is the definition of Purusha for a woman? Purusha is referring to consciousness. And in Vedanta, whenever the word Purusha is used, it means an embodied being. They don't refer to man or a woman. Because see, Vedanta's definition of Purusha is across several janmas. A jīva is in a man or a woman body only in this janma. So they are not too particular about only one birth. It could have been in bird form also. So Purusha means that, but yasya antasthani bhutani. Don't make Purusha as another person in creation. Purusha is that in which creation lives. In Puranas, this same concept is explained in poetic way. When Samudra Manthanam happens, all different gems come out. Several people were waiting to take it. Airavata comes, the horse comes. But when poison comes, nobody wants it. Then they say, we have to go to somebody who is least concerned about Samudra Manthanam. He doesn't want anything, that is Lord Shiva. And you should see that description, Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Shiva, when he hears the request of Devatas, basically what are they asking him? You might have to die. We have a problem, but you have to take this poison. Taking poison means what? Not even 50% chance. Lot of probability that it might be fatal. Bhagavan Shiva asks Parvati ji's permission. Bhagavan Shiva says, this is what they are asking, you tell me what I should do. Parvati ji says, don't even listen to them. They are all self-centered people, they just want their work to be done. But then Bhagavan says, there is problem both way. If I leave this poison outside, it will burn this world. If I drink the poison myself, if it goes in my belly, it will burn other 13 worlds. Because all of this is living in me. Then he finds intermediate solution. It is said the moment food or drink passes the mouth, it is considered as eaten. So he makes that poison cross the mouth and stay in his throat. But the point here is, yasya antasthani bhutani, the one in whom all worlds live. All beings live, that is this Purusha. See, Puranas, how nicely they have depicted the same concept. Yasya antasthani bhutani. Yena sarvam idam tatam. This world, it is pervaded by this Purusha. This is the Purusha we meditate upon. The key word here is bhaktya labhyah. Love for the truth will take us to the truth. Mere knowledge of the truth might leave us halfway. Now, did you notice one point here? This 8th chapter is talking about which topic? Upāsanā or Jnanam? We are almost on 22nd verse. By now you should have figured out. What is the main topic here? Upāsanā. Is it talking about Sadhya Mukti or Krama Mukti? Sadhya Mukti means liberation right here, right now. Krama Mukti means going to some higher world, liberation from there. Krama Mukti. What is the means for Krama Mukti? Upāsanā. So the main topic is Upāsanā. Now the question is, why did Bhagavan suddenly start talking about nature of Brahma? 20th, 21st, 22nd verse, he spoke about nature of consciousness. There is one very important point here. It will help us in our sadhana. Any upasana that is done finally is of Brahman alone. Any upasana which is done is really speaking upasana of Brahman alone. Supports might be different. Alambanam might be different. One might do Omkara Upāsanā. One might do Surya Upāsanā, Devi Upāsanā, Rama Upāsanā, Shiva Upāsanā. Doesn't matter which form it is. What we are doing Upāsanā of is of Brahman. Why is it called as Upāsanā? Because Brahman is worshipped as different from oneself. Knowledge is to understand Jiva's essential nature, Ishvara's essential nature is one and the same. In Upāsanā, we make Brahman as an object of worship. That is why it is called Upāsanā. If you want an example to understand this, if let's say some person is a collector, very powerful person, cabinet secretary, let us say, several people will be around him, lot of files will go to him, everything needs his approval. But the day he retires, nobody comes to him. So even while he was sitting on the chair, what were people really respecting? They were respecting his position. It was coming through him, no doubt. But Upāsanā was done not of the person. It was of that position. In the same way, different conditionings when we worship, when we do Upāsanā, what is there beneath that conditioning is consciousness. So Bhagavan says, know the nature of consciousness and do Upāsanā. The result of Upāsanā is higher worlds. This point is no questions on this one, right? I hope you got this question, because it is very confusing. Upāsanā topic is going on, suddenly nature of Brahman is described. Suddenly another topic will be, you go to higher worlds. And in Vedanta they say there is no coming and going. So if you don't put things in context, if you think, we'll get confused. Why did Upāsanā topic which was going on, in between that, why was the topic of Brahman discussed? Remember, we had seen 4 steps of Upāsanā. What was the first step? Recognizing the need for support to focus my mind. Second step, choosing that support from scriptures. Step number 3, meditating upon that support as consciousness. Meditating upon that support as Bhagavan. And you can meditate upon Saguna or Nirguna. Both are possible. So here, what is the nature of that Nirguna Brahman is pointed out. And last step was not allowing any other thoughts to come. First thing is to understand these 4 steps of Upāsanā, then is to actually do Upāsanā. Merely knowing 4 steps is not sufficient. Now 23rd verse onwards is a very interesting topic. Bhagavan says, until now I have told you that there are these 2 worlds. Now I am going to tell you the path by which a jiva goes to these 2 worlds. It's a very popular topic, Uttarayana, Dakshinayana. But let us see if Bhagavad Geeta will give us some new perspectives about these topics. Let's see the 23rd verse. Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim chaiva charjuna Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim chaiva yoginah prayata yanti tam kalam vakshyami bharatarshabha yatra kale Bhagavan introduces the next topic. Yatra kale, at that time, prayata, second line you see, prayata means those who have gone at these times. Who are these people? Yoginaha, those great yogis who depart at these times. Anavrittim avrittim yanti. I will tell you those times having departed at which people attain the path of return and the path of no return. Anavritti means no return. Avritti means path of return. So generally, how do we understand? What time of the year, if a jiva dies, does he go to path of return? Which time of the year does he go to path of no return? This idea Bhagavan challenges. He says Kala doesn't refer to physical time. Kala refers to the state of mind of the jiva at the time of dropping the body. 2 paths are pointed out, the bright path and the smoky path. What it means is, was his remembrance of the Lord bright or was it smoky? This is the main idea of this verse or these set of verses. Bhagavan is telling, I will tell you that Kala. I will tell you that time by which a person does not come back, anavrittim and avrittim comes back. See, if you take it literally, right, the path of anavrutti is path to Brahmaloka. And one word that will be used is Uttarayana Marga. December 31st, December 22nd to June 21st. Uttarayana. If we say everybody who dies in this time goes to Brahmaloka, there will be a long line there. So what is being mentioned here is amongst those who are yogis. So this verse is not talking about any person, a random person. That's why the word yoginaha is used. Amongst those who are yogis, one category does karma and upāsanā. They live a good dharmic life, do rituals, do their bounden duties. At the same time, they meditate upon the Lord. That is one path. One category of yogi. Second category of yogi, they do only karma. Only karma means good karma. In technical language, it is called as Ishta Purta. Ishta karma means to fulfill one's desires. Vedas give certain karmas. Certain karmas that he performs. And Purta karma are those karmas which are for social well-being. Vapi, Kupa, Tadagadi. Building a pond, building a well, building a garden, dharmashala, all of that is considered as Purta karma. Social work. So second type of yogi is not an indulgent person. Second type of yogi is one who has focused only on karma. You tell him, meditate upon God, he says, no need. If I do good work, that is the end. That is the whole and soul of life. Two types of yogis are there. One yogi goes on the path of Uttarayana. Second one goes on the path of Dakshinayana. But at the time of dropping the body, what is their thought? That is called as Uttarayana, that is called as Dakshinayana. That decides what is Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. In that way. It is not only time of the year, that is the main point. Now, in next verse, what Bhagavan is going to do is, did we see the whole verse here? Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim chaiva yoginaha prayata yanti tam kalam vakshami. I am going to talk about that time. But kala here is not time of the year. Bhagavan mentioned in this verse, I am going to talk about time. Next verse, he does use certain time indicators. He says daytime, Shukla Paksha time, Uttarayana time. But he also mentions fire and light. Now, fire and light are not indicators of time. You can say those who depart in Uttarayana, those who depart in Shukla Paksha, those who have departed during daytime. But if you say those who have departed in fire, what does that mean? So Shankaracharya clarifies here, Kala means Devatas. These 5 people who are mentioned in the next verse, it is not indicator of only time, it is indicator of presiding deities over these aspects. That is the meaning of Kala. Next verse when we see, it will become clearer. Okay, so 2 paths, one of no return, another of return. And who are yoginaha? Two types of yoginaha. One yoginaha is karma plus upasana. Second yoginaha is only karma. Now you see how he describes the first path of no return, anavrutti. Agnir jyotiraha shuklaha षण्मासा उत्तरायणम् तत्र प्रयाता गच्छन्ति ब्रह्म ब्रह्मविदो जनाः अग्निर्ज्योतिरः शुक्लः षण्मासा उत्तरायणं तत्र प्रयाता गच्छन्ति ब्रह्म ब्रह्मविदो जनाः. 5 things are mentioned. Agni. Agni means fire. Jyoti. Jyoti means light. Ahaha. Ahaha means daytime. Shuklaha. Shuklaha means the bright fortnight. Shukla Paksha. And Shanmasa Uttarayanam. 6 months of Uttarayana. 5 things. Tatra Prayata. Those who have departed during these times, Brahma Gachanti. They go to Brahma Loka. Brahmavidah Janaha. So see, Brahmavidah here refers to whom? Jnani or Upasaka? Upasaka. For Jnani there is no coming and going. Brahmavidah refers to an Upasaka who is doing Upāsanā of Brahma. Bhagavan Krishna is known to use these words such that we think. If Upāsanā Prakaranam is going on, you cannot say Brahmavidah is referring to a Jnani. Okay, these 5 things are mentioned. Out of them, how many are indicators of time? Ahaha, Shuklaha, Shanmasa, Uttarayanam. You can say person who has departed in these times. But what is the meaning of Agni and Jyoti then? Departing in Agni means what? This is where Shankaracharya says, these 5 of them are 5 different Devatas. That Upasaka whose mind is thinking of the Lord, his bhakti is bright, he will be led to Brahmaloka by these 5 Devatas. First Agni Devata will take him. Then Jyotihi means Surya Devata. Then Devata presiding over daytime. Then the Devata presiding over Shukla Paksha. Then the Devata presiding over Uttarayana. Think of it this way. You are on a flight, international flight. First, where do you have to go? To the check-in counter. So the first Devata you will meet at the counter is Agni Devata. He will check your background, excess luggage, karma, account. He will take care of it. Then some upgrade, something has to be done, he will discuss. Second Devata is Surya Devata. He will scan. Make sure that Upāsanā which is needed is there. Who was the third Devata? Daytime, Ahaha Devata. Aha Devata is immigration. All your visa paper, everything is fine, he will check. Then the fourth Devata is Shukla Paksha. You have to go to the next one. This is the main counter at the airline, boarding gate. Last call, final call. If you miss this, then the other flight. Anavrutti marga, if you miss, you will have to take the avrutti marga. And the last one, Uttarayana Devata, he is in the flight. Fasten your seat belts. Destination is Brahmaloka, from where there is no return flight. He says these 5 Devatas, they will take that Jiva to Brahmaloka. Another commentator, he writes, majority Devatas have Kala conditioning attached to them. Day Devata has Kala, Shukla Paksha Devata has Kala, Uttarayana Devata has Kala. Who are the 2 missing? Agni and Jyoti Devata. He said this is called as Chhatri Nyaya. Chhatri Nyaya means what? If 5 people are walking with an umbrella, 2 people are walking with them without an umbrella. Still you say, people with umbrella are walking. So those 2 who didn't have it, they also get the title of holding an umbrella. So like that, out of all Devatas, majority of them are Kala Devatas. So even though 2 of them are not Kala, they are also included. Then he says, Gachanti Brahmavido Janaha. Those who are Brahmavidaha, Upasakas, they go to Brahmaloka. What is the brightness in the path over here? Brightness is of their devotion. Don't think of that path as physically bright. While dropping the body, if their mind was thinking of the Lord, that becomes the bright path. See, to explain this point, some very physical example is taken. Like in Mahabharata we see, Bhishmacharya, once he falls on the bed of arrows, he says, even if I am on the bed of arrows, it is okay. I will wait until Uttarayana comes. And we start feeling Uttarayana means certain time of the year. What it means is, the mind which was so involved in battle, Bhishma says, let me think of the Lord now. Let Bhagwan come and stand in front of me. Let me do his Upāsanā. And he composes Vishnu Sahasranama in that state of mind. That is Uttarayana. Not only time of the year. If you make it time of the year, both ways you cannot explain. Means a yogi also might depart during Uttarayana, and a person who has neither done Satkarma nor done Upāsanā, he also might depart through that time of Uttarayana. And if you say both of them go to Brahmaloka, that won't fit. Okay, so this brightness in his mind is a result of his Upāsanā. That is the path of no return. Now the second path is the path of return. So this goes to, destination is Swargaloka, destination is Pitruloka. What is that path? Dhūmo ratristatha Krishnaha Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandramasam Jyotihi Yogi Prapya Nivartate Dhūmo ratristatha Krishnaha Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandramasam Jyotihi Yogi Prapya Nivartate. As we had 5 Devatas in the previous path who are leading that Jiva to Brahmaloka, there are 4 Devatas who are leading the Jiva to Swarga and Pitruloka. They must be nearer. 4 are sufficient. First one is Dhūma. Dhūma means smoke. Second one is Ratri, night. Krishna. Krishna means dark fortnight, Krishna Paksha. Previous one was Shukla Paksha, this one is Krishna Paksha. Shanmasa Dakshinayanam, 6 months of Dakshinayana, from June to December. Now just imagine, if you literally take the meaning of this, how does it look? And in serials and all, they show this way, there is a smoke, dark path, smoky path, and different Rakshasas are there, they are going. Remember, the one who is walking on this path is not an adharmic person. He is a satkarmi, he is a yogi. So we cannot take the meaning of smoke to be literal smoke. Darkness to be physical darkness. What will be the smoky path? His remembrance of the Lord is smoky. His Upāsanā had gaps in between. Regularity was not there. And the intensity with which he can remember the Lord, that is not very strong. That becomes the second path of return. And the same Devatas, 4 Devatas, are leading that jīva to Swargaloka. Who are these Devatas now? Dhūma Devata, Ratri Devata, Krishna Paksha Devata, and Dakshinayana Marga Devata. They are leading this jīva. And that Jyoti, previous one was very bright. This one is called Chandramasam Jyoti, moonlight. Moonlight is beautiful, but we cannot read anything. That is the example given for the second person's Upāsanā. It is there, but it is not powerful enough to take him to Brahmaloka. And who is this sadhaka? Which type of yogi is this person? One who has done karma plus Upāsanā or only karma? Only karma. Lived a noble life. But he felt there is no need to meditate upon the Lord. Upāsanā means meditating upon the Lord. That was missing in his life. Now Bhagwan doesn't mention about any other path. Did you notice here? There is one path which has no return, second path which has return. What happens to others? Which path do they go through? He says, let us not discuss right now. 16th chapter it will come. I will discuss about other worlds. The Naraka Lokas and all description we should read in Srimad Bhagavatam. I think it's Canto 5. Because it doesn't mention here, it doesn't mean there are no other paths. Whenever they talk about lower worlds, one meaning is Naraka Loka. Another is, in this world itself, those forms of life where degrees of freedom are limited. So plants and animals, they have limited degree of freedom. But it is also a jīva. This point we had seen earlier. If plant is thirsty and water is kept next to it, it cannot drink. Somebody has to come and give water. He said that is limited degree of freedom. That is also a path. Ishavasya Upanishad, this is how it is described. Third path is this. But Bhagavan says, right now, let us just discuss these 2 paths. And we are discussing the path of return so that we get inspired to go on the first path. Swarga Marga is described only to show the contrast. It is not to say that you might choose between both these paths. If a person is already doing Satkarma, why not also do Satkarma and remember the Lord? Now Bhagavan specifically mentions that this journey doesn't depend upon time of death. Which path we go through, it is not that half of the year one path is closed, another half second path is closed. He says both paths remain open all the time. Say this verse. Shukla Krishne gati hyete Jagata shashvate mate Ekaya yatyana vrittim Anyaya vartate punah. Shukla Krishne gati hyete Jagata shashvate mate Ekaya yatyana vrittim. Shukla Krishne gatihi ete. One is called the bright path, another is called the dark path. Why is Brahmaloka called as bright path? Because having gone there, a person gets an opportunity to gain Brahma Vidya. Having gone there, the sadhana samskaras of that jīva multiply and they express very distinctly. Clear knowledge takes place. What happens in Swargaloka? Too much enjoyment. Even in this loka we see, whenever bhoga is available, whatever sadhanas we are doing, whatever shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam, everything falls apart. Many people tell me, their conferences are in Vegas. They say when we go there we realize how Swargaloka must be. Because whatever little things we were doing, very easy to fall apart unless we are very alert. Doesn't fall apart for everybody. That's why even in Swarga you might have one Indra Bhagwan who is a fit adhikari. But in general, it is bhoga pradhana. That is why no Brahma Vidya, no sadhana, no desire for moksha. That is why that world is called as dark path. Ete, these two paths, jagataha shashvate mate. They are open all the time. As long as this universe is there, this world is there, both these paths are open. Don't say half of the year one is closed and open only during other half of the year. Any time a jīva departs with his mind turned towards the Lord, he walks on Uttarayana. Ekaya yati anavrittim anyaya avartate punaha. On one path there is no return, going to Brahmaloka, moksha from there, and on the second path there is a return. Means Bhagavan is telling many people have walked on these paths. Paths are constant, people keep changing. When you go to some Disney or Universal Studio, you see those rides. People who sit on those rides keep changing. Rides remain the same. So these two paths are like those rides. Different jivas have come and walked, but both of them have remained open for a jiva to walk. Okay. These verses clarify lot of concepts. For a long time, a person might have thought departing in Uttarayana means some physical time of the year. And Bhagavan tells Uttarayana is state of mind. Bright path, you must have thought, it is physically bright. And Bhagavan tells us, bright path means how bright is our devotion, how bright is our smriti. And third misconception is, everybody who departs in this time goes to higher worlds. Bhagavan says no. Yoginaha eva. Either they should be satkarmi or satkarmi plus upasaka. And this discussion is done so that we can get inspired to walk on the right path. If somebody is not even stepped on the path of satkarma, then one should step on the path of satkarma. If one is already doing satkarma, then add sincere upasana. This is not to judge anybody, which path he must have gone by. This is to say how we should become more committed to our sadhana. Any questions, thoughts? This is a good time to ask. Yes, you can go on the mic.
Hari Om Somji, this is on the first part of the discussion today. So Brahmaji is also like a Utkrishta Jiva. What's his dream state like? I mean, there's, for all Jivas, there's dream, waking, and Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti, right? Which is his Swapna state?
Very good. If you think of it in a different way, this waking world is dream of Brahmaji.
Okay. Manifested.
There is no gross creation.
Okay.
There is no gross creation.
Yeah, true.
It is Brahmaji's dream world,
yeah,
which is appearing as his creation.
Okay.
Brahmaji is a jnani or ajnani? Jnani. So for a jnani, waking and dream are same. Jagrat, Swapna are same. Yes? Yes. From him alone, Vedas come. Foremost. Yes.
Hari Om Somji.
Turn the mic up, please.
Hari Om Somji.
Yes.
I always had this confusion, what is a Jivatma that is going to Brahmalok, coming back? I often get confused with our pure consciousness state.
Yes.
The description of Jivatma or Tattvamasi, that everything is the consciousness, that somehow I get confused, that what is changing bodies, what is going to Brahmalok.
Right.
If you could give some clarity.
There is one definition of jīva which we should remember any time we use the word jīva. What does jīva consist of? First is gross body. Without gross body, it will be preta. Preta means ghost. So some body should be there. Either Devata Sharira, Manushya Sharira, Pakshi Sharira, body has to be there. Then you have subtle body. In simple words, we call it as mind, intellect. Prana also is part of subtle body. Then we have causal body. Causal body is the blueprint of where this jiva has come, where this jiva has to go, and in this particular life, what all things it has to experience. What thoughts will rise in the jiva, that is called as causal body. Gross, subtle, causal. Now all these three are inert. They are just matter. To enliven this matter, you need reflection of consciousness, also called as Chidabhasa. So fourth entity is reflection of consciousness. Fifth entity is pure consciousness. So in BMI chart, if you see, body is the first thing. Mind, intellect is Sukshma Sharira. Body is Sthula Sharira. Vasanas is Karana Sharira, causal body. And consciousness reflected here is reflected consciousness. And Om by itself is pure consciousness. Now you see the beauty. If this concept is clear, from one life to another life, the subtle body and causal body remains the same. What changes is gross body. How does this jiva know which body to take? Depends upon what is stored in the blueprint. Based on the vasanas, based on the impressions, it will decide which body to take. Now what comes and goes? Body doesn't come and go because it is dropped here. What transmigrates is subtle body. This unmanifest causal body, it actually need not come and go anywhere. It is even beyond, it is unmanifest, so there is no conditioning that it will show up in. So simple answer to the question is, what transmigrates? It is not physical body, nor is it pure consciousness. What it is reflected consciousness or subtle body. Can you turn on the mic, please? And now it is on.
Hari Om.
Yes.
Somji, mine is kind of a very simple question. The first topic that you mentioned, or the first path is, why is it called a path of no return? You're talking about topic of Upāsanā, and
Yes.
it's not from a jnani context. And Brahmaloka, is it not possible for a jiva to come back to earth or come back to this transmigration from Brahmaloka?
Brahmaloka, generally they say, whoever goes there stays until the creation is complete. Brahmaji is 100 years. And before the creation goes through Atyantika Pralaya, they get Upadesha from Ishtadevata. Same Mahavakya Upadesha, and from there they get liberation. There is no coming back to other worlds. But we had seen there are certain types of upasanas. If a person has gone through those upasanas, then there is a possibility of coming back. Both ways it is understood. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.